This live from Orangevale, and this is fascinating, spawned by some stories that have been in the news. We're talking about genetic disorders in pets and how reconstructive surgery can solve some problems. And specifically, Jill, what kind of genetic disorder are we talking about?
Well, this is Zoe. Zoe was born with both sets of reproductive organs. So she actually had a male and a female. They consider them hermaphrodites. But she's perfectly normal, Paul. You know, a lot of people think just because they're born that way, they can't make great pets. This dog is amazing. She does all sorts of agility. She's had a great life, and the owners just love her. But she was born with a condition that required her to be spayed and neutered.
Wow, that is fascinating, and I have to confess, I have never heard of this before. Now, is it possible, in humans, we either have, an X and a Y chromosome or two X's, and you can tell by a blood test what gender we are. Is there the same thing in animals? I don't even know that.
Same thing in animals, yes. There are blood tests now that can detect certain genetic disorders, and there's many genetic disorders that a lot of people don't even realize their pet may have. In fact, a lot of people don't even recognize sometimes when their pets do have both sets of reproductive organs. It isn't until they go to the veterinarian and the pet is actually a little more developed or a little bit older before you start seeing those conditions. And it's a little confusing to owners because a lot of times people go in to have a well puppy check and they come out going, my dog a male or a female? So yes, they can have blood tests to detect that if the owner's willing. This little gal went to UC Davis and had special surgery. She had both corrected, and so she lives a normal life now, obviously. She's a great little dog. She's had some urinary incontinence in her past, but the owners have worked very hard, and they actually believe this litter may have been exposed to a drug during the mother's pregnancy that caused this problem.
Other than, I understand the reasons for spaying and neutering our pets. That's really important to do regardless. Separate from that, what's the advantage, or what's the health risk of having an animal with this condition?
Well, certain cancers actually can arise from that, or other reproductive disorders. Obviously, the system is a bit confused with hormonal defects, so you want to have your pet spayed and neutered. If your pet is a hermaphrodite, certainly you want to have both of those things done. Some of these animals actually have external genitalia that may cause conditions too. She was born pretty normal, so they didn't have that issue. But again, some of the external genitalia can be larger than normal, can get more irritated. There can actually be bone inside of it that needs to be removed. I mean, there's all sorts of genetic conditions that can arise in pets. But we want to make sure people understand too, talk to your breeders, make sure that you have them. There's all kinds of certifications now before you purchase a pet that the breeder should be responsible for.
Okay, now we need to run. Do I understand it's more common with cats than with dogs? Is that right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Cats can have it too. All animals, cows, horses, sheep. Cows a lot of times will eat certain plants that can cause cyclopia, or they have one eye, for example, or I've seen cows before that are born with 6 legs. So, it's all over the place. It's all over the map.
All right, well, we appreciate your interesting information this morning, and that looks like one happy, sweet dog you've got there. Thanks, Jill. We'll talk to you next time. And if you'd like to schedule an appointment with Dr. Jill, check out her website, drjill.com, or give her a call. The number is there on your screen at 916-989-0738.